So you should have encountered area and perimeter in earlier classes, but let's just do a really quick review. So area is two-dimensional. When we're finding the area of an object, we're finding out how much space it covers, how many square units it takes up. Perimeter is one-dimensional, and when we find perimeter, we're finding the distance around the outside of an object, okay? So this is basically the flat surface, how much space it takes up, and this is the distance around the outside. With the circle, we call perimeter circumference. So let's just review these formulas. You will actually have all of these formulas on your reference sheet, so it's nothing that has to be memorized. So the formula for the area of a rectangle is length times width, or we also say it's the base times the height. It's the same thing. But all we're doing when we use either of these formulas is we're just counting the number of square units that there are inside of a rectangle. So I just did that. There are 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24 squares inside of here. Well, this rectangle is 3 units by 8 units. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 3 times 8 gives us 24. So the area of the rectangle is 3 times 8. It has 24 square units inside of that box. That's literally what we're counting. And we're usually going to abbreviate that as unit squared. Same thing. The perimeter is just the distance around the outside. So if I add, in this case, it's 3 plus 8 plus 3 again plus 8 again in order to get the perimeter. And notice that the height showed up twice and the base showed up twice. So you've probably seen the formula for perimeter as, and again, this could be the length and this could be the width, but there are two of each of the dimensions in a rectangle. So you've probably seen it as 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. But really you're just adding, it's just the sum of the sides, whether you feel like you need to use a formula for that or not in order to find the perimeter. So in this case, 11 plus 11, it has a perimeter of 22 units. Whatever these units were up here, if these were inches, this would be 22 inches. Okay, so that's the rectangle. A triangle is just half of a rectangle. So notice that if I take this triangle and I extend the sides like such, literally that triangle, I could fold across that diagonal and it takes up half. So a triangle's area, let's look at it for this one as well really quick so that you can see it. I still could enclose this triangle with a rectangle. And again, I hope you can see that this part would fit right here. I could fold it over into that space, and this part of the rectangle would fit down here if I fold over that flap as well. So it would fold down onto itself. So it's half of the rectangle that would enclose it, and the rectangle is base times height. We saw that up above. So that's where the formula comes from. And then again, for perimeter, it's just going to be the sum of the sides. So let's go ahead and calculate. We won't do it twice. We'll do it for the more difficult one really quick. So let's find the area of this triangle. So the area, the base is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 units across. And the height we can count is 4. So the area is going to be half of the base times the height. You can do half of 9, half of 4, or multiply first and take half of 36. Either way you do that, you're going to end up with 18. And again, it's 18 square units. All right, now perimeter is a little trickier. In order to find the perimeter here, our base across the bottom is 9. So we know one side is 9, but now we have these other two sides that we need to add. And I don't have a calculator at home, and my phone that I'm using to record actually acts as my calculator. So I'll be able to tell you approximately what this will equal. But this particular triangle is 3. There's my right angle, 4. And perhaps you've seen enough of these to know that this is a 3, 4, 5 triple. The longest side, the hypotenuse, is 5. So I don't have to round there. But my other triangle is 4 by 2, 4, 6. This side is 6. So we do need to use some math to find this side. And that side is the hypotenuse of this right triangle. So off to the side, let's find the hypotenuse. 4 and 6 are the legs. So 4 squared plus 6 squared equals the hypotenuse squared. 16 plus 36 equals x squared, and that's going to be 52. So when we go to find x, we want to take the square roots of both sides, and 52 is not a perfect square. So x is equal to the square root of 52. Now a little later this year, we'll learn how to simplify this radical, but for now, if I wanted to be exact, my exact answer would be 14 plus the square root of 52. That would be the perimeter. The square root of 52 is a little bigger than the square root of 49. The square root of 49 is 7. So I'm guessing this is about 7.2 if I had to guess. I don't know, but you could go ahead and type that into the calculator. 14 plus 7 point something, it's going to be 21 point something. Why don't you do that to the nearest tenths? All right, so that's perimeter. So for a circle, we have two formulas. Both of them involve pi. So remember, pi, this is a constant. Pi is nothing more than a number. It's irrational, however. So remember, pi is an irrational, and it's a number. Right? A pi is a ratio comparing diameter and circumference. But our two formulas involve the radius of the circle. And the radius of the circle goes from the center of the circle out. That's the radius. And the diameter of the circle connects a point on the circle with one exactly across from it. So this orange segment is the diameter. A diameter is made up of 1, 2 radii. 2 radii make a diameter. But as long as you know the radius, you can find both the area and circumference of a circle. The area is pi times the radius squared, and the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. Let's go ahead and find these, and I'll leave these as exact answers, and then we can talk about how we would round those when we're in class. So the area of this circle has a radius of 3 units. The area would be pi times 3 squared. I can go ahead and square the 3, so the area is exactly equal to 9 times pi. Once again, whatever those units are, they're squared. And then the circumference is 2 times pi times our radius. We'll go ahead and multiply the 2 and the 3 together. So the circumference is equal to 6 pi. And since circumference is like perimeter, it's one-dimensional, not two-dimensional, that would just be units. You've probably used the approximation 3.14 for pi. More often than not, we're going to use the pi button on our scientific calculators when it comes to working with pi in geometry this year.